So, once again, Kamala Harris steals from Donald Trump. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Kamala Harris went on to Saturday Night Live, which I cannot play because every time I play a clip from Saturday Night Live, it gets blocked globally. Then I have to dispute it, and then I have to wait 2 days for YouTube to release it. And then by the time it gets released, it'll be after the election. So I cannot play the clip. But what had happened? What had happened? You saw the clip, did you not?
I did. I was shocked she went on. As bad as the first Saturday Night Live bombed at the dinner or pre-recorded thing.
Yeah, I'm not shocked she went on because NBC is they're stumping for Kamala Harris, and this is proof in the pudding. And what happened here was Kamala Harris went on Saturday Night Live at the very last minute, which actually violates FCC rules for candidates. They have to allot equal time for every candidate, regardless of the situation. But she went on to SNL, and what they did is they ripped off. In 2015, Donald Trump went on to SNL, and that's when the Democrats loved Donald Trump. Do you remember that, when the Democrats loved him?
Yeah.
Yeah. In 2015, the Democrats loved Donald Trump until, even though he was running as a Republican, they still loved him until he started to win. And then once he started to win,
they didn't like him anymore.
They didn't like him anymore. So he went on there and he did this thing where they did, he was the mirror. They had the character to where he was the mirror, and they did their little spiel on SNL. And then lo and behold, Kamala Harris comes up and does the same exact spiel.
Yeah.
On SNL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Maya Rudolph plays
yes.
her. Yeah.
Yeah, did the Cammy, and the Cammy was the reflection.
Right.
So basically, they just ripped off Donald Trump's spiel. And it was really kind of corny. I was reading some of the stuff from the liberals, and they're talking about how funny it was. I'm sorry, I didn't think it was funny. Famala.
That's because it wasn't funny.
It wasn't funny. And they're like, we need Kamala to be our new mamalas while we wear our pajamalas. And it was just stupid. It was stupid. And it wasn't funny at all. And I was on some of the forums earlier today, and the Democrats were just talking about how funny it was and hilarious. And I was like, well, you're all are Democrats, so I kind of understand why you think it's funny, because, y'all are the ones that are killing comedy, literally.
It was Obamala.
It was good one. It was Obamala. Very good. And so they ripped off Trump with the little skit that they did. And it's not the first time she has ripped off Trump, because she has taken, several of Trump's ideas and claimed them as her own, like the no tax on tips idea. And when she's not stealing from Trump, she's stealing from Joe Biden, because Kamala Harris, she is such a weak thinker.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know how else to say. How else would you say weak thinker?
She has no mind of her own, so she uses everyone else's ideas.
Or we could go with that idea. She has no mind of her own, so she steals everybody else's ideas. Because if you got to remember, when she first started her campaign, back when the Democrats hated her, which was only 3 months ago, all Democrats hated Kamala Harris 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And but during that time, for the first 2 months of her campaign, she had no policies or anything on her website, and because she simply couldn't
think.
So what did she do? She went and stole all of Joe Biden's and put them on her website. So this is how weak of a candidate Kamala Harris is.
And when you are paying I'm sure the people that she has around her, that much money,
they don't stay,
to make sure that she is saying and doing the right things, and she still cannot.
They don't stay.
Do anything other than parrot the same things over and over and over again.
80% of her staff has quit since she started this.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody wants to work for her because, from what I understand, she's just simply unbearable to work for. But she stole all of Joe Biden's ideas off his website and put them on her website because she simply does not have the mental fortitude.
Oh.
She simply does not have the mental fortitude to do the job. And that is the problem I have with her running for president. And it's not that I have a problem with, I don't care if you're female. I could care less. I don't care if you're white, black, blue, green, orange, yellow, or Mexican.
Wow. Is this Dr. Seuss?
It is. And you always have the one token Mexican on the Dr. Seuss names. And so I simply don't care. what you are. What I do care about is that you're qualified for the position, and she is shockingly unqualified. And like I said in one of my a few videos ago, she's a very unserious person in a very serious time. And she's simply not. I mean, how do you spend 4 years in the VP ship and still not be able to do anything? How is that even possible?
Well, because they were giving poor Joe Biden all of the...
They were giving him the shaft, the root, and both of the dingleberries. They gave him the full salami.
So what are they giving her now?
You don't know. Willie already took care of her. Willie Brown.
Oh.
Willie Brown took care of her.
Oh,
but they have stuck more knives in Joe Biden's back than you can possibly fathom.
Well, I mean, the sad thing is he doesn't even know they're there.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
They don't even have to ask anymore.
No, but it is funny how they've completely abandoned Joe Biden. They have kicked him because he has sent multiple requests to Kamala Harris's team to help campaign. And there for like a week and a half, they literally ignored his phone calls. He would call and they would not respond back.
It's like a 3-year-old asking if they can help cook.
Well, it's like a 3-year-old asking an 8-year-old if they can help him cook. But regardless, she goes on SNL, and this was her last minute stint to tie it up before we ramp into Tuesday here. But according to the FCC guidelines, any media outlet that puts a candidate on the air or whatever, radio, TV, doesn't matter, they have to invite and allot equal time to every candidate that is running for that same position. And in this case, it is president. So by FCC rules, since Kamala Harris did her last minute, Yeah, come on. This shit was planned weeks ago.
Well, maybe they said, Kamala, do you want to come on SNL? And maybe they said, hey, Trump, do you want Janelle?
Well, yeah, and of course, Trump, his team says, we got no invite. And by law, by FCC law, which apparently FCC law doesn't really count. And I'm going to get into that here in a second.
Yeah.
Because by the FCC rules, they were supposed to also invite Trump, SNL was, and give him an equal lot of time. But they were also supposed to invite RFK because RFK is still legally on the ballot.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is the rules. Now, what happened here is they're saying that somehow they circumvented this. They got it together with NBC, SNL got together, and they found a way to circumvent the rules, so-called, for Kamala Harris to be on here, which is complete bullshit.
Ooh,
I know, right? You know it's serious when I bring out that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
No.
Yeah. So.
Remember I showed you the sign language version of that?
What is
it? It is the sign language.
So for all of you laymen out there like myself, the sign language for bullshit. Oh, we got to do this. This is just awesome. So you put this arm up and you got your horns, and this is the bull, and this is the shit. Bullshit. So I like that. I'm going to start using that often. So anyways, they were supposed to, give everybody equal time, and they found a way around it. I'm not exactly sure how they found a way around it. But regardless, the point that I'm going to make before I read this here is that since it's a Democrat, even though they violated the FCC laws,
it doesn't count.
It doesn't count.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Mm-mm.
Nothing's going to happen. Nothing will happen. It's going to skate through like it does everything else. And if you're sitting here saying, well, what are you talking about everything else? They haven't broken any laws. Again, I call...
Nope.
I call bullshit on that because you got to remember, Joe Biden illegally stole classified documents that he had no right to have because he had taken them when he was a senator and or a congressman. Only the president is allowed to remove classified documents from the archives.
Unless you're Trump. And then you're not allowed to remove them.
Well, that's true. If you're Donald Trump and you're president, you're not allowed to remove them.
It's illegal.
It's illegal. But apparently it's not illegal for Joe Biden, who does not have the authority to take them. Apparently it's not illegal for him to do it, but it's illegal for the sitting president, Donald Trump, to do it.
Yes.
So, once again, nothing's going to happen of this. But what happened here is, and I'm reading this from Fox News. You can see it right here. The senior Republican on the Federal Communication Commission's lambasted. I like that word.
Lambasted.
Lambasted.
Isn't it Lambasted.
It is lambasted, but I said it lambasted.
Okay.
I like lambasted.
It sounds like a sandwich.
It does. It does. It sounds like hey, you lambasted. That's why I like it. So the senior Republican on the Federal Communications Commission lambasted
Yes.
NBC's decision to host Vice President Kamala Harris on Saturday Night Live in the final episode ahead of Election Day, while not offering equal time to former President Trump or other candidates in the presidential cycle, which happens to be RFK. And I am quoting here, this has all the appearances of at least some leadership at NBC, at SNL, making clear that they wanted to weigh in favor of one candidate before the election. That's exactly why for decades we've had an equal time rule on the book, is to prevent that. Because remember, broadcasters are placed in a special position of trust.
Oh, no.
That is awesome. I absolutely love that, dude. They're not just like any other person with a soapbox on the corner. You're right. They're worse, because I would actually trust somebody standing on a soapbox on a corner right now giving advice, as opposed to NBC, ABC, CBS, CNN, or MSNBC. They have a license from the federal government that obligates them to operate to the public interest. Well, that's a lie. FCC Commissioner Brendan Carr told Fox News Digital in a Zoom interview Sunday morning. So now, knowing that they were supposed to do that, and of course they did not do that, he comes back and he says, NBC has structured this in a way that's plainly designed to evade the FCC's rules. We're talking 50 hours before Election Day starts without any notice to other candidates, as far as I can tell, Carr continued. And after previously coming out and saying they weren't going to do this precisely because they did not believe that they could do this consistent with election laws and the FCC's equals time rule. Now, the president of NBC come out and said that they were not. No, I'm sorry, it wasn't the president. It was oh my God, the dude who
Lauren
Saturday
Michaels?
Night Live. Lauren Michaels. Lauren Michaels actually come
Creator.
out. Yes, a couple of weeks ago and said they are not going to do this because they could not get everybody equal time to follow the FCC rules, which they must abide by. Lo and behold, there's Cammie.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. 2 days before election, Kamala Harris ends up on SNL breaking the FCC guidelines. Okay, so they did that. It is what it is. It's over. What pisses me off is nothing is going to be done about it.
Well, they know that. They knew that going into it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing's going to be done about it. Once again, the Democrats are going to skate under the rules, because, and the thing that kills me is the Democrats, oh my God, when you go into the forums, the political forums, they're constantly on there screaming, about Trump. Nobody's above the law. Well, nobody but apparently Joe Biden and, let's see, Nancy Pelosi, who, by the way, happens to be the greatest stock trader in history. Because, boy, does she sure as hell know when to sell. Or maybe it's a little illegal inside information.
Are you suggesting something?
I'm suggesting something, yes. So either Nancy Pelosi is the greatest stockbroker in the world, or she's trading illegally. I'm going to say she's trading illegally. And that's why, you saw the other day, on Gutfield, they're talking about her eyebrows.
Oh,
yeah. They're like up to here now. Yeah. Nancy Pelosi's eyebrows are up to here now.
Maybe she's just really surprised.
Yeah, she's surprised that she's gotten away with this shit for 400 years that she's been in Congress.
You really should not hold back.
I'm trying not to. I know I should be a little more forthright and a little more giving of myself.
Yes.
But anyway, Harris was scheduled to fly to Detroit on Saturday evening, but her flight landed at LaGuardia, teeing up speculation she would appear on SNL during its final airing ahead of Election Day.
Knowing that there's no way they could give him the equal right to do that.
Exactly. They knew that they were not going to get Trump on there. They knew they were not going to get RFK on there, which by FCC guidelines, they should have done it. And especially after 2 weeks ago, when SNL comes out and says we will not do this because we cannot make it fair to all the candidates. This only proves one thing, that NBC and SNL is stumping for Kamala Harris. That's all this proves.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in my personal opinion, the FCC should come down on NBC, crack down on them, hit them with massive millions of dollars in fines for doing this.
How whenever football teams have the slightest infractions, they get millions of dollars worth of penalties.
Yeah, they get fines, and
that's right.
They can't recruit for 3 years or whatever have you. Well, the same thing should happen to NBC. They should get fined millions of dollars. They can't hire anybody new for 72 years. Just to
Are
make it
they
fair.
hiring new people?
NBC? Well, they're always hiring because, liberals, the liberal newscasters are so dishonest. And here's the caveat.
Oh, are you telling us a secret?
I'm telling you a secret. Here is the caveat. Is the liberal networks have now come out and pretty much admitted that since half the people in the country are voting for Donald Trump, that nobody is watching their networks anymore. Because if they were watching their networks, then nobody would be voting for Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's be honest. The liberal networks, they're lying about everything. Proof in the pudding is, was it CBS that changed the answer for Kamala Harris? 60 Minutes, CBS. I believe it was CBS. 60 Minutes is on CBS. I don't watch it. But they changed the answer for Kamala Harris because the answer she gave was completely ignorant.
And didn't they recently ask the courts or the stenographers to change their...
Yes, to change the transcripts.
Right.
Yeah, and so the liberal media, which is everything pretty much, well, Fox News, I'm kind of on the fence. I can't, sometimes I think they're stumping for Kamala. Sometimes I think they're stumping for Trump. I think it just depends on who the host is on that hour.
I think you're right.
Yeah, in Newsmax. But other than that, all the other networks are corrupt. They're 100% corrupt. And not to get into that because that's a whole different video, but when Trump was talking about the warmonger Cheney, and he said 9 guns pointing at her face, they completely, 100% took that out of context and come out, Rolling Stone, which is the biggest rag piece of shit magazine in the world, Donald Trump wants to shoot Liz Cheney in the face. Never said that, never said anything about it. So, but they're lying. They're blatantly lying about everything because that's what they are.
They're spinning it.
Well, they're spinning it, but they're stumping for Kamala. Exactly what SNL did.
Well, yeah, when she says something stupid, they spin it for her.
Yes, and when Trump says something that's, even though it's derogatory against one of them, and it should be because they're idiots. What he said about Liz Cheney, and the Trump team came out and defended it because we said nothing wrong. She is a warmonger, and she is. How do these Democrats? This blows my mind. How do they think the Cheneys made their damn money? Off of wars, off of promoting wars. That's how the Cheneys got wealthy, off promoting wars. And now they have one of the biggest warmongers backing Kamala Harris, and the Democrats are, woo, we love her, woo, she's so amazing. She is a warmonger. What Donald Trump said is 100% correct. The liberal media came out, took his words, completely spun it into fit their narrative, which was 100% a lie. And all that proves, just because they did that, just on that fact alone, that absolutely proves that all the liberal networks are stumping for Kamala Harris. But here is the key before we wrap this up. If there was no Donald Trump, there would be no news on NBC, CBS, ABC, CNN, and MSNBC. Donald Trump single-handedly saved the news on every one of those networks. Because before 2016, CNN was about to fold shop because nobody was watching it. Then Donald Trump came along. Now, all of a sudden, their numbers started to do this because now they had somebody to complain about 24/7.
Oh, yeah.
And their numbers went up, as did MSNBC. But CNN was like this far from having to close the door. Nobody was watching it. And what their fear is that if Kamala Harris wins the presidency, and here's the thing, this is what I love. I got to put some damn Loctite on this. This thing's driving me crazy. Here's the thing I love. They're stumping for Kamala Harris. But deep in their minds, deep in their psyche, deep in their little stone cold pea hearts.
My Lord.
All right? They secretly want Trump to win because if Kamala Harris wins, half of them will be out of a job. Mark my words on that. Half will be out of the job. So I just wanted to get this out real quick because the election is coming up. There will be another video coming up tomorrow as well as on Tuesday where I will be watching the election results all day long to see what is going on. And
yeah, I won't see my husband all day.
She will not. Well, she'll see me. She'll see me like this. Looking at the TV all day long. So there will be another video tomorrow night, so be looking for that.